Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Let's Chat Movies podcast. I am, as always, your host, Lucas Ledain, and joining me once again today is host of the Film Fanclub, Sam Carrico. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well, Lucas. Thanks so much for having me back.
No problem. It's great to have you back, and we've got plenty of stuff to discuss today. Our first story of the day broke yesterday, and it's some big DC news. There's more DC news. This particular story isn't about the Snyder Cut. I'm sure some viewers will be relieved to hear that just for now. It's about Black Adam because it has finally begun filming. Dwayne Johnson confirmed it via a photo on his Twitter. And of course, Dwayne Johnson has been making headlines with DC recently. He's been very vocal about the movie Black Adam, about how he'd like to face off the Justice League and Superman in the future. And maybe this could be one of DC's more promising upcoming efforts. Do you think this looks promising so far?
Well, first of all, I'm just happy that they are finally shooting this damn thing because
Right.
it has been like a lifetime ago. I was still in high school whenever this movie was announced, Lucas. It's been that long, and I'm 25 now.
Yeah.
This has
Bill
been a
Cosby
long
was
time
still
coming.
popular.
Yes. So I it's
Better delete that.
Anyway,
it's been that long. It's
I
been
know,
that
right?
long. We could still watch
had
Harvey
hair.
Weinstein movies back then. That's how long ago it was. Oh
Zack
my God.
Snyder and Warner Brothers got on.
That's how long ago it was. Zack Snyder and
Wow.
Warner Brothers still had a working relationship. Ray Fisher was still
crazy.
allowed on the Warner Brothers lot.
Warner Media weren't racists.
That's how long ago it was.
Any-
I'm just happy that they finally made this. They're finally shooting the damn thing, and I think with having Dwayne Johnson be on board this project, I think this is bound to, now that they're shooting. Dwayne Johnson is on board. They just add Pierce Brosnan to the cast, and if you're a Mamma Mia fan like me, you're probably thinking, "Oh, here we go again."
Emily, don't! Oh my God!
But I'm just excited to see Pierce Brosnan get some more work, especially in an action movie. So I can't wait to see what they're doing. It's not my most anticipated DC movie, probably, but it's I think it could be. It has some promise. I mean, Dwayne Johnson is a powerhouse, and he's really put his backing behind this project. So I'm excited to see what they pull off.
Oh, 100%. And I do think that it's definitely going to be a financially successful film for Warner Media, because when The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, isn't overexposed and in like a movie every month that's coming out, his movies do really well. It's only when he kind of like when he had Rampage come out and then Skyscraper, and then he had that Jungle Cruise movie that eventually got pushed back, also supposed to like come out then like the year after, and Fast and Furious. It was like so much, everyone was kind of burnt out. But now I think people are like, yeah, I'd love to go and see a Dwayne Johnson dumb action thriller in the cinema again with my friends and popcorn and just get drunk, And I think that's what this is going to be. It's going to be DC's kind of Fast and Furious in a way. I mean, do you think they're going to go very over the top with the action and Dwayne Johnson of it all? Or do you think it might be a bit more grounded because it is still a DC film?
Well, this is kind of a spin-off to Shazam, right? He's originally a Shazam villain. So I am curious to see how they retrofit this Shazam villain to be an anti-hero or even superhero role for Dwayne Johnson. And eventually, obviously, they're going to cross. I imagine they'll cross paths or even team up or something in the future Shazam sequel. But I'm assuming they're going to take some of that tone, which I remember Shazam having a lot of violent, a lot of that Man of Steel kind of destruction, and if I remember correctly, it kind of was parodying a little bit. But I imagine this is still going to have a lot of action, a lot of, like you said, over the top violence, where you probably don't really think about the ramifications of it too much. But so I'm expecting just a fun. This is not probably going to be the Snyder Cut, which was like the Lord of the Rings style, big epic type of thing. This will just be a fun, like you said, a fun popcorn flick, and that's what a lot of people could use right now.
Definitely, yeah. I'm excited for it. I am excited. As I've said, I am a very big Snyder supporter and a fan. But before even Snyder, I was a DC fan. So I'm always gonna kind of watch these movies and be excited for them. So good for Walter Hamada and Dwayne Johnson, I guess.
He said begrudgingly.
Yeah, I say it with like a grudge. It was like I don't mind. Obviously, I talked about the Suicide Squad trailer and how I didn't like the Red Band one they released, but I did actually watch the PG-13 one that came with Godzilla vs Kong.
That was still a pretty good trailer, yeah.
I actually really liked that trailer, and that trailer didn't have the color issues that I had, the color grading issues of the first one. It didn't feel oversaturated, and I liked like the first shot of Harley in the plane with the red lights and a new like jacket. So
yeah,
you know, I'm not that bad in terms of when there's people I don't like. I can give praise when it's due.
Well, we all just want to see these movies succeed, regardless of whether it's, we may have our issues about James Gunn boarding the project, but once James Gunn is on, we want to see the Suicide Squad movie possible. So, we hope that it is. And the same thing with the Rock and Black Adam. I don't really, if I was in charge of the DC extended universe, I wouldn't be prioritizing this project over some of the others, but they are. So I hope that it's the best version of this possible, because I want to see a good DC movie, even though it's not, Justice League 2.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Justice League, our second story of the day, which we did actually already record for you guys, but unfortunately the recording messed up. So we're going to go briefly over it this time. Of course, the Ray Fisher and Chris Terrio exposés that were in the Hollywood Reporter and Variety. Lots of very interesting stuff to come out of that. I have plenty of notes. We can't even go over them all in this one segment, but I mean, the sheer scale of the stuff they were saying, and the blatant racism that is running rampant at Warner Media right now is just off the charts. And not only that, but then you have the added sexism. One of the biggest stories to come out of this one expose was that Joss Whedon threatened Gal Gadot's career, saying, quote, "She'll say the lines, she'll shut up, I'll make her look stupid, I'll destroy her entire career." And telling Ray Fisher, giving Ray Fisher his script over like a quick dinner where his entire role has been cut out. Do you think this is the final nail in the coffin for Warner Media?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's the final nail in the coffin for Warner Media. That's my fear, but it could be for Joss Whedon. He's been radio silent ever since all this kind of started to unfold, not to mention the Buffy stuff and all the other allegations against him. He's just kind of been hands off in his approach for once. And he's been not just letting the allegations kind of, which is very telling when he's not even putting up a very strong denial. So, but Warner Media has done this kind of internal investigation with remedial action that some people have been happy with, like Gal Gadot, and then some people like Ray Fisher have been not happy with at all. So I'm afraid that a little bit that Warner Media is going to be able to say, look, we've done enough, we figured it, it's solved, it's over, and they won't do anything more. But yeah, I can't see Joss Whedon getting work again anytime soon.
No, definitely not. And with Warner Media and Gal Gadot, it's great that her situation got resolved. It really is. Sorry, one second. Ow. Thanks. It's really great that Gal Gadot had her situation resolved, but when you put into perspective, she says, "I had my own problem." This is the quote: "I had my own problems with Joss. They weren't very good, but they were dealt with swiftly. I took them to the higher ups at Warner Media, and they dealt with it adequately." And then you have the only member of the cast who is a person of color saying to Warner Media's executives, "Hey, they are not treating us right. They're saying this, they're doing this." And he just got swept under the rug and dismissed and fired from this franchise.
Right.
So I think Warner Media's this may not be the final nail in the coffin for them, but this is going to haunt over them possibly forever. just this
If I was
entire situation.
Sure, if I was a person of color working as an actor on a, I mean, obviously the unfortunate thing is with the power structure, you know, they still hold all the power in Hollywood. So I mean, you really don't have a lot of say when you're an actor trying to make it, you know, working on a big budget production. But if you get that opportunity, you have to worry: are you going to be, you know, put through something like what Ray Fisher was put through? And if you are you going to be able to stand up for yourself? You know, it's got to be something that's kind of turning people off from working with Warner Brothers, or just at least being skeptical about it. And that's unfortunate because, you know, I really enjoyed Godzilla versus Kong, and they've made, you know, like we talked about Batman versus Superman Ultimate Edition and Justice League Snyder Cut, and they eventually made those movies, even though they butchered them to begin with. But, you know, there's some good Warner Brothers content out there, and it's unfortunate that they had to take such a huge misstep on Justice League.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, I hope deep down, I do hope that everyone comes out of this for the better and learns from the mistakes that they made. But given how Warner Media have handled it all so far, I don't think we have much of a chance of that happening.
Who the fuck are you? Exactly. Sit the fuck down. Stinky ass.
So that's the end of the Ray Fisher story for today. And our next story is the Cruella trailer, because a new Cruella trailer came out recently this week. This is, I believe, the second full trailer, excluding the teaser we got. And it looks, at least to me, really good. I think it looks great. The visuals look really interesting. Emma Stone seems to be doing a great job living her like British fantasy punk rock. And we also got a bit more of a look at Emma Thompson's character. Did you like this trailer? And are you excited for this film?
Well, at first I was kind of, I've been openly skeptical of the Cruella trailer, or of the Cruella movie, and the whole concept of an origin story for Cruella. I'm like, what is coming next? Godzilla, the college years, you know, like what's going to come after that? You know, like Making a Murderer, the Matt Gaetz story. Like, come on, are we like all these origin stories, man? But then once I saw the trailer, the first trailer, I was like, whatever, you know, it's going to be fine. It seems like it's weird that they're making Cruella kind of like an anarchist or whatever, because she's a lady that wants to kill puppies. It's not really like an anarchist, you know. But this new trailer is whenever I've kind of been like, okay, you know, I really like the look of, or not the look, well, the look of Cruella is fun. I've always thought that having a crazy, you know, old eccentric lady that's a fashionista was a super fun Disney villain, and they really embraced that kind of craziness here in this trailer for Emma Stone's character. But Emma Thompson's character, I really like getting to learn a little bit more about the setup of what's going on there. You know, she takes Cruella under her wing and teaches her how to be a terrible person, basically.
Yeah.
And then she gets betrayed by the monster that she's created. And I think that could be potentially an interesting commentary on kind of a, you know, like on her character, like be careful what you wish for. And I think she could, and maybe I'm reading way too much in a Cruella trailer, but I think Emma Thompson's character could be kind of representative of the system that ends up creating Cruella. And like I said, just an interesting commentary on what that system is like and what it does to people.
Yeah, definitely. And it very much does seem to be leading into the kind of industrial vibe of that era of London. You know, we've got like, I think this is a heist movie, because in the description for it as well, in like the trailer release, it says like, this is the heist film and everything. So
and there's that scene, you see her driving away with the pups in this trailer, and I like that. I mean, I hope those dogs don't fucking die. I hope they're okay. But yeah, I kind of like that she's stealing, you know, Emma Thompson's character's dogs, and she's got her classic Cruella de Vil red car, and she's driving away from the cops, and it looks like they've injected enough fun into it that I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm gonna say, this is another one. It's also a Disney Plus premiere access release. I would implore people not to watch it that way, and because if you're going to be fully vaccinated like me by the end of May, I think that this is would be fun to watch in the theaters. And that Disney Plus premiere access strategy is just dumb as hell.
It really is. But I'll be honest, in terms of premiere access, I am very much considering paying for it for Black Widow, because I want to see it, and I might not be able to have had both of my doses of vaccine to be eligible for it here until by the time it comes out. So I don't want to pay $30 or pounds to see the film, but I want to see it.
I would like to see it.
I want to review it, before it's been like a month after it's come out and then on Disney Plus.
Sure. I am fully empathetic of your position and of those who are, and obviously the priority is your health, and 100% totally agree.
No movie is worth dying for, people.
Absolutely, your priority is your health. If you have the ability to go to a drive-in, if you haven't had your vaccine, go to a drive-in movie theater to watch Black Widow. That's where I saw Tenet, and I would just, but I'm gonna have I'm getting my second dose pretty soon. So by July, I think a lot of people in my area will. So I'm encouraging people in my area to go to the theater, because I don't think it's worth killing the movie theater industry over if healthy people can go and be safe and wear a mask and socially distance.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back to the movie theater when I can. I'm hoping to be able to go back at the very, very least for I've forgotten the name of the film, so that's bad.
It's a very exciting new movie. I can't remember
very
it at all,
exciting. Oh, Spiral, that was it. Because apparently that's going to be a theatrical only release as well. So yeah, I really want to watch that because I love Saw and I'm very excited for that. We talked about that in our last episode, the trailer for that, and I think that comes out in June.
Yes, it comes out soon. I don't know when, but that does look good too.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to go back by then. There'll be some maybe sense of normalcy by then, but we've been saying that for over a year now. So we'll keep waiting.
In closing, oh, absolutely. But in closing, I'll be ready to. I'll be done waiting by the time we go. By the time it's the end of May, which is when the Cruella movie comes out. And if I wasn't sold before by the first trailer, I think the second trailer kind of sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, definitely. And it reminds me a lot of the Beauty and the Beast remake, which I personally loved because I loved like the grand scale of the visuals and the way it was just kind of presented. And it, I also loved that people on Twitter were saying that Emma Stone is coming out in like full drag for this with her outfit reveals and everything. I thought that was brilliant. So I'm very excited to see the fashion for this movie as well. I think that's going to be a big talking point of it.
Totally. Yeah. But I have to say, I'm done with the story. Okay. Stop showing me the story in this any more trailers. Don't show me any more. You almost showed me too much in this trailer, I got to say, because I know now I kind of have a little idea of the act structure and what's going to happen where, and I don't need any more of that. I want just enough to enjoy. I want to be surprised a little bit. So yeah, show me more of the fun visuals and all that, but I'm done with the story. They've already sealed the deal for me, so I think they've done their job with this trailer.
Show us Cruella in a lip sync for your life instead. That's what the people want to see. we want to see her up there with RuPaul. That's what we want. That would be that would actually be really good.
Could you imagine though, like having Emma Stone in character come on RuPaul's Drag Race to like guest or something Cruella. Like that? That'd be fun cross marketing.
It would.
I don't know. Or at the very least, just have Emma Stone as herself come do it or something. That'd be fun cross marketing or something. But do something other than showing us the trailer to promote this movie.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess it is a situation of what can they do. They can do like talk shows, but people don't even really watch talk shows, I don't feel like, anymore, unless it's their specific person they want to see. So
sure. And I just remember whenever The Dark Knight Rises and Prometheus were coming out, both of them used strong use of viral marketing websites and the in-universe type of things, where like you see the company website or do like a fake, I know the movie's set a little bit in the past, but do like a fake fashion website for Cruella de Vil or some shit. Something that gets people talking and keeps the movie in the ether, but without saying, okay, you're going to want to see this, that's going to happen at the end,
And they better release like if they don't release like a Cruella inspired fashion line after this, like they would be losing out on so much money.
I agree, yeah.
That's the Cruella trailer, so yeah, we like it, right?
Surprisingly really good, yeah.
Yeah. Our next story is some sad news. We have DMX has died at the age of 50. He unfortunately overdosed. Very sad. I'm of course a big rap fan. I love DMX. This is the only celebrity death this week that I actually care about. which if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I was gonna say, Lucas, let's not forget really important other death. The actor best known for his role in the vampire movie Nosferatu died this week.
Yes.
I think some people know him as I don't know, he had some other job, but yeah, mostly known for his role in Nosferatu. I think that actor died too, so you know.
Yeah.
No way!
Rest in peace to
yeah.
this man. But
If they would like to know more about that man, they can watch our TV channels here in the UK, which are broadcasting it non-stop his entire life because people really care. But yes, DMX died, and that's actually sad because he was a great, he was an icon for not just hip hop, but for, I wouldn't even say just the black community, but for people who loved hip hop and the genre and the style of the genre and the things it brought to culture, the culture of the world and everything he had to say about the world. It was kind of like he was always there without even having to release music. You were just like, oh yeah, DMX, if he ever comes back, he's gonna like fuck everyone up. Because he is one of the originals who will never be forgotten. Do you have fond memories of listening to DMX?
So, this might shock some people, but I don't. But just thinking about 50, you know, they gone at the age of 50 is way too soon for anybody to be gone. So that's very unfortunate. I'm 25, and I did not want to think that I'm halfway through my life. So very sad. And like you said, an inspiration to the entire, like a shadow is looming over the hip hop community and industry right now, and I think it will for a while.
And you think about the amount of amazing, talented rappers lately that have died, you know, Pop Smoke, 21 Savage, now DMX, multiple other people. Megan Thee Stallion got shot at. You've got people like Quavo and Sway T, who a video recently came out of Quavo like slamming Sway T, his girlfriend, into like an elevator or something in a metal bar. And I really hope that things start to change soon, because we're losing way too many people way too soon at this point, and it shouldn't be happening.
I was just going to say, it's important, obviously, to have more voices in the room. And we talk about DMX being a large voice in the room, but also what's nice is in today's culture, we have more of these positive representations of women also in the rap community, talking about Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
Oh, excuse me?
Okay.
No, I'm cutting that out.
You don't like Cardi B?
We'll talk about that in the Nicki Minaj section. Trust me.
I rise. I rise. Thank you.
I like the Wet Ass Pussy song. I was gonna go on this whole rant about how Wet Ass Pussy is like actually important to our culture to reclaim.
Well, if you guys want to hear about my thoughts on Nicki Minaj, on the Cardi B, and us argue about that, I guess you have to wait for the end of the show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited now.
That's going to be fun. We actually disagree on something.
Oh shit, Jesus Christ.
And of course, that can also lead into our next story. Speaking of rappers, Nicki Minaj, it seems she's coming back. She's officially filed patents for her 2 new tracks. That's what they kind of do before they release a song, so no one else can kind of steal their song name or anything. And it definitely seems to be taking aim at Cardi B. The title of it is called Write a Rap. This is the title of one of them. Of course, Cardi B has been very exposed for having multiple ghostwriters.
Ew.
I also hate her because I am a barb, which is why we will probably disagree about her. But also,
why do the Nicki Minaj fans hate her?
I have to laugh. I'm sorry. This is so ridiculous. I can't stand here. I can't sit here and hear this.
We'll get into that before we do.
Oh my gosh.
Just you're on Twitter. How do you anyway? Um, I'm surprised you don't know this, but yeah. Management. So Nicki has come under new management for this next album she's going to be doing, because her last management just really messed her around. They didn't do a very good job with her stuff. And they recently started becoming a bit active on social media, kind of starting to drum up the hype for it and everything. And I'm personally very excited for this comeback. I can't wait to hear new music from her. It has been nearly more than 3 years since her last album.
I got a heart attack.
She's done features and verses, but she has not released a damn album in years. And she literally said before she released that album that she would never leave us that long without an album again.
And I have to defend myself because there's nobody else out there defending Onika Tanya Mirage. So I have to defend myself.
So, I mean, are you excited for her comeback? Do you like her music?
She's no Cardi B, you know what I mean?
It's almost hurtful to me to watch her be so dumb.
I mean, so I that's how I feel about Nicki Minaj. But no, I liked the Glee cover of Super Bass with Jane Lynch and Darren Criss collaborating on it. That was a lot of fun. I'm not the biggest Barb, if I understand the terminology. But it's good to see, like I said in the previous segment, it's good to see positive representations of women. And I didn't know that there was such a divide over who those women were, but I think it's always positive to see good representations of women in a very male-dominated industry like the rap industry is.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
We don't give a fuck.
yeah. So, here's the thing. So imagine you were at a job and you came into that job while it was essentially like a barren wasteland. Like, it was once great and thriving, and you came in when it was kind of on its way out and kind of revitalized it. And you really were the person who was the spearhead for that entire company for years and years and years. And a new person comes in and you show them love. You put them on, well, I guess you wouldn't put them on your track in a company, but this is the analogy I'm trying to go with. So like, you show them love, you maybe promote them, you talk good things about them to the boss, and you really help kind of prop up their career, just as the people before you did for you, kind of. And then imagine that person then turns around and starts peddling a bunch of false rumors about you, trying to get you blacklisted from radio, paying DJs not to play your music, throwing a shoe at you, calling black women cockroaches, telling a woman her dead son looked like a monkey and killed himself because she uses drugs, calling multiple other black women all sorts of names under the sun, all sorts of names. There was that issue with her hairstylist where she was very abusive to her hairstylist, and she made an entire vlog about it. She literally stalks fucking Nicki on Twitter. A Barb literally the other day caught her following the Nicki Minaj topic on Twitter, because I follow a lot of Barbs on Twitter. I talk to them a lot, obviously. I'm one of them. And we were set because she keeps replying to our tweets. Like, we won't at her and she'll find our tweets and she'll reply something and then she'll delete it. And this is a weekly occurrence at this point. And we're like, I swear she's stalking us. Like, she must be stalking us on Twitter. And they found that she's following the topics and everything on Twitter. So just imagine, like, if someone came into your job, fucking, where you are the, like, undisputed boss, like, you fucking brought that place up to, like, the highest level it could be after, like, it had gone to shit. And then someone came in, pretended to show you love. You showed them love back. You did everything you could to help them. And then they did all of that to you. That's Cardi B. Roaches. She
Allegedly.
called. It's not allegedly. We have the screen.
Well, that one. I was in response to your long paragraph.
Well, I have receipts to back it all up. I'll put it in the video. They are all out there. And then even to add to that, right? Because this whole beef started because I know everything about this. That they've both talked about this, and both of their stories are the same except for one point. So they collabed on the song Motorsport, obviously, with I think that was Quavo, so that's unfortunate for him. He's in a really bad spot these days, isn't he? he just surrounds himself.
You're telling me.
But yeah, so they had the song and they were going to do the music video, and a scheduling conflict came up. So Nicki asked if the video shoot could be moved, because she didn't want to shoot her bit of the video separately, because then people would make it out that she doesn't want to be with them. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like, no, I'm too good for it. And they didn't move it. So that all went down.
Alleged. Do we know that for a fact? Do you have?
Yeah, she admitted to it.
Well,
and then she also, because
she doesn't cook and she doesn't clean, Lucas.
Because her man couldn't keep his dick in his pants, she sent people to the strippers' work because they slept with her boyfriend, as if that's their problem. Yes, that's her boyfriend's problem and her problem. And that's not alleged. You can look that up. But I'll put this also into film terms to kind of make it a bit more accessible to you.
Let's chat movies, Lucas. Come on.
Okay, so here we go. Imagine like comicbook.com claiming to be on the level of the Hollywood Reporter or Roger Ebert.
Is it really that much of a drop off? I mean, neither of them are like Beyonce. Come on.
Don't be afraid to hit that block button.
Only one of them's the highest selling female rapper in the world, so.
Period. End of discussion. Blah.
You know,
which one is that? Is that
that's
Beyonce?
Nicki, and only one of them, you know, has the most songs on the Billboard Hot 100 ever.
On my D, yo, I got a D, and be holiday, suck a D, if you doubted me, back in the back.
So, you know.
The Glee cover of Super Bass was good.
This one is for the boys with the booming system, top down AC with the cooling system.
Listen, Lucas, I still believe that someday you and me can find ourselves and love again. That's part of the mashup that they did. Cue the music.
Oh, I was very confused for a second then.
No, it's called Super Bass / I Still Believe.
With
and,
Darren,
and Darren Criss sings the I Still Believe part, and it's awesome. And it's very underrated cover by Glee.
Speaking of Glee.
Season 4.
Yeah, speaking of Glee, really quickly, RIP to Naya Rivera. It was the 1 year anniversary, wasn't it, recently, this week?
No, it wasn't the 1 year anniversary, I don't think. I think that comes up in the summer, but they just did the GLAAD Awards, the first GLAAD Awards that happened since Naya passed away, unfortunately. And I'm speaking of gone too soon, happened. And at the GLAAD Awards, the cast of Glee, except for Leah Michele, didn't show up. But
I wonder why.
Don't know why. I don't know. Did something happen there? I don't know. But
maybe she should work with Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns. They would be a team.
They would get along great. Yeah, I bet she's gonna play Batgirl or something next. But no, but in all seriousness, it was a really beautiful tribute to Naya Rivera and showing just how much of a influence. I mean, Ryan Murphy's a problematic writer sometimes, but for him to give a woman of color very strong, prominent LGBTQ storyline, and to make that an inspiration to a lot of young women and Latina women out there, I think it was, especially in 2011, where it wasn't quite as talked about at the time.
It was like a huge deal. Like, people went mad. They're like a
Yeah,
lesbian on our TV. Oh,
and she was not you know, there are other characters on Glee that kind of like, there's the stereotype that girls are just kind of, you know, bisexual and with their friends they do gay shit, but really they also sleep with it, but their main love interest is a man.
Yeah.
And Santana, the character of Santana, really defied that stereotype and was unabashedly, you know, in later seasons, as she found herself a lesbian character. And although Naya Rivera was not herself, you could tell that she really took note of the importance of that character. And again, she was gone too soon, but I'm very glad that, and it was very beautiful to see the cast come together and remember her for what she provided to so many people.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on from Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, only one is the queen of rap, so there we go.
And yes, I was sharing the shady post towards her.
It's Beyonce.
She doesn't rap. Beyonce doesn't rap.
I don't fucking know.
Oh dear. You need to like just go through my Twitter one day and just check out like the conversations I have. Anyway, so the next story of the day. I actually watched this movie this morning to to get prepared to talk about this. Melissa McCarthy and her husband made another film. So, of course, everyone is absolutely excited. It's at like 99% on the Rotten Tomato meter. The box office, wow. It's just, I mean, Netflix don't usually release it theatrically, but they just decided this was such a good film that they would. And it just made like $1 billion in its first weekend. So... I'm in the middle of talking. Why are you coming in and talking about sausages?
Hey, be nice.
I'm sorry.
It's a very nice offer. I would love some sausage.
He said he would love some sausage.
Well,
if you were to offer me...
There's a thick sausage here. Plenty of thick sausage.
God damn it. I want to eat that thick sausage. Holy fuck.
Oh my God.
That's what we're having for dinner. By the way.
Okay, that's great. I can't wait to have that.
I knocked out my headphones. I laughed.
Oh dear. It's probably a good thing my rant there got cut off because I was getting carried away. I was finding myself funny.
What were you saying? What were you saying when you got cut off?
So yeah, like it's made $1 billion at the box office. Thunder Force is just a phenomenon. People love it. No, it's absolute. I was actually saying though, before we were filming, I did say this is the more watchable one of Melissa McCarthy and her husband's movies, because I am a fan of Melissa McCarthy. I know you're not as much of a fan of hers, but I
never
like
seen her in a funny thing ever in my life.
I like her when she's in the right role. Like I loved her in Spy. I loved her in The Heat. I loved her in Can You Ever Forgive Me? I thought she was great in that. This movie has moments where it feels like it's going to be a really good joke because it has great setups and like you're like, oh, this is going to pay off really well, so you kind of giggle at that, but then there's no payoff to the joke. And that, for example, there's like this whole bit with Octavia Spencer's character and how she takes these pills every single day and how they like, and how it's a correlation between Melissa McCarthy's character and having to get like 1,000 injections in her face for 30 days straight. And you're like, oh, so this is going to be funny. I wonder where this is going to go. And it just goes nowhere. Like they forget about it in the next scene. It's like, that was our joke. Thanks for laughing. Next. So yeah, I mean, I know you haven't watched this. Have you watched the trailer for it?
I've seen a very extensive review by a YouTuber that I enjoy called the Critical Drinker, and he sometimes misses with his takes, but he was pretty spot on from what I'm hearing in his description, at least matching it up with your opinion, which I also respect. It seems like it was, and he showed some clips from the movie as well, some of the comedy bits, especially Melissa McCarthy just being like loud and obnoxious and being like, look, a joke, and it's like, that's not funny to me, you know. So, and oh my gosh, Octavia Spencer, oh how the mighty have fallen. We're talking about, what was that movie, The Help?
Oscar winner Octavia Spencer is in it. She has several poop jokes, several. You can't, I am not shocked. You cannot get an Academy Award winning actor in your comedy film if you do not have them make a poop joke. It's like a rule of thumb.
It's very, and this is like the level of, and this Netflix can do good films, and that's
They
the
really
unfortunate thing
can.
about this. And whenever they were like, oh, in 2021, every Friday, new movie, bam, every Friday, every week, new movie in 2021, and I'm like, that's awesome. But I hope that they're not like half of them are shit and half of them are like middling. And this is kind of seems to be what the route they're going down, because I haven't really cared for some of the Adam Sandler comedies that they've been doing so far, and this doesn't sound like, and it sounds like, remember like Epic Movie and like those silly like parody movies of whatever was popular.
Movie. I like
Scary
those
Movie's fine. The Scary Movies are all right, but like it sounds like the later, those later cheap parody movies that they would release that are just, like right now superheroes are popular. I don't know, let's put Melissa McCarthy in a fucking superhero comedy, and it's cheap. It feels like a cash grab, and I would rather listen to Wet Ass Pussy 120 times instead of see this movie.
You know what? No, I wouldn't say I do. I'd rather watch Thunder Force. But to this movie, with this movie, it's like they do have funny moments. They really do, because there are several times when they really do catch on to things that are funny, and that only like a movie with Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer could kind of do. And like, I'm not opposed to stupid comedy. I do like stupid comedy films. I liked that Netflix Coffee and Karim film. I thought that film was funny, and everyone hated it. This film, to me though, it's like there's a difference between stupid comedy and just, there are literally scenes that drag out for like minutes of just Melissa McCarthy just going off in some random voice for like 2 minutes, saying nothing of meaning, just random stuff like, "Ooh, I'm a whale. Ooh, I'm saving the world in my cool suit." And
I believe it, yeah.
Jason Bateman has the absolute worst supporting role I've seen all year. He's playing
They dragged Jason Bateman into this?
He is playing a crab, and every time he moves, they make him move like a crab, like off screen. And there's an entire scene with him and Melissa McCarthy on a date at a dinner table. And they also nearly have a sex scene, by the way. And he's like trying
as if
to
you weren't suffering enough. Jesus.
I just can't.
So you give it a 9.9 out of 10. Right?
I mean, it's just very obvious why this is the Avengers Endgame of Netflix discography, and congratulations to them. Congratulations to them. They've made a really triumphant film for absolutely nobody to watch. And I hope
nobody. Okay.
Yeah, I hope they stop, and I hope that Netflix stops giving them money, please.
I think, speaking more broadly, I think this does show that quantity does not equal quality.
Yes.
What good is a new movie every week if half of them are shit? Focus on what, I don't want to say like 3 or 4, but maybe you could do 10 good movies throughout the year. Do an action movie, do a comedy movie, do a whatever. Just put
restore the Snyderverse.
Restore the Snyderverse on Netflix. No, I'm kidding.
Netflix could do it.
I am excited that all the future Sony properties are going to be able to view on Netflix, including the future Spider-Man movies. So that's exciting. But Netflix needs some content. So I understand their original programming. I understand the urge to want to do so much so fast. But just focus on quality. And I think hopefully if they take any feedback from this, maybe that could be what they do in the future.
Yeah. I definitely don't think Disney are as enthusiastic about that Netflix deal with Sony, though. They're probably like, but our Disney Plus, why?
You can't get rid of me, bitch.
They're like, excuse me? You did what?
I'll put in that meme. Excuse me?
Oh, excuse me?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones. So yeah, that is Thunder Force. I do also just want to quickly mention, because I found it funny, there's a new Divergent Hunger Games wannabe film that actually came out. So unknown, you didn't even know what it was, did you?
I had never even heard. What's the name? Voyage bullshit?
Voyagers.
Whatever?
It's called Voyagers. And I've seen it. And Thunder Force is better than this film. So congratulations, Thunder Force.
Is that true?
It's very true.
Yay!
So where does Thunder Force succeed over this, or how is this
Thunder
movie
Force,
even worse than
Thunder Force has a plot.
This is just a collection of shots.
I will attempt to describe this in the best way possible to you, and I promise when I describe this, I'm not exaggerating anything. So, you remember Passengers, the Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt film?
Yes.
It's kind of like that. So basically, a bunch of humans have been sent all sorts of places to go and colonize the world and make the human race prosper because we've ruined Earth. You know, very edgy teen sci-fi stuff. And there's this group of very attractive young 21 and 25 and very young people all in a ship together, and they have to learn to adapt to each other, but then they also get conflict, and it basically turns into Lord of the Flies. And there's literally, I kid you not, straight up lines in this film that are just rip-offs from Lord of the Lions, like nearly word for word. And it is so funny to watch, just to imagine people watching this in the screenings and people getting pitched this film and just going, yes, I will give you money for this, take it all, make this film into something. And they did not, because this is not anything. It is just a collection of, I will be honest, kind of good shots. The cinematography I liked. There was like some cool lighting here and there. The directing wasn't awful, but there is just nothing in this movie that is memorable at all. I can't remember a single name. I don't even remember how it ends. I think one of them dies.
But when your baseline is a script that is incredibly subpar, you can only elevate it so much with good cinematography and good direction. So I'm not surprised that even though those things were adequate and passable, what you're at the end of the day, what you're left with is something forgettable and bad.
100%. I mean, and it's a shame as well because Ty Sheridan is in this. He was Cyclops in the Fox prequels, and I like him. Oh,
that's the guy that you look like. Yeah.
How did that's a compliment, actually.
Hey, bestie.
I think he's a good-looking chap. Yeah. I said chap because you're British, but I was just thinking. I noticed that. I was trying to think I was talking to you earlier. I was like, who's the actor from X-Men that I think you look like? It's the young Cyclops, whose name is
he's a bit more ripped than I am. I'll be honest, but
well, yeah, you're just younger. It's fine.
Yeah, but like he's a good actor. I think he's a good actor. He just is given such a bland script here, like, and such a bland character that there's nothing anyone can do to save this. Like, I'll be surprised, honestly, if they recover from this in like the next year or two. I reckon they've got a lot of indie, low-budget film festivals ahead of them for a while until they get back on the radar.
But, and that's what people do, right? You know, you do a big superhero movie, and if it doesn't work out, you go back to what made you, what really you cut your teeth on. So,
yeah. So, in terms of my ratings for Thunder Force and Voyagers, fuck me.
Put that on the DVD cover.
That is the quote. Fuck me, Lucas Ledain. Let's chat movies. Thunder Force, I'd give a 3 for the amount of times I laughed. And Voyagers, I guess I would give
They said it was even worse than Thunder Force.
0. There you go. I'll give it a 1 because Ty Sheridan's pretty and the visuals were pretty.
The shots were in focus. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They managed to turn the camera on, so I guess I'll give them credit for that.
Look, she's crying. Do you hear her crying? Like we care. I don't give a.
The lens was off. The lens cap was off, so that's good.
There were no shots with the boom mic in, so congrats.
That we know of.
Yeah, that's true. They probably just green screened it out. But our next story, we have, unfortunately, some more movie delays. It seems every week it just happens again and again. Poor coronavirus and poor Hollywood. This time it's Universal. they've been hit with some delays to Top Gun. Top Gun Maverick has been moved, which is already finished, by the way, which I find really weird. I don't know why they've moved it, but they moved Top Gun to next year, next summer, and they moved Mission Impossible 8 to 2023. So yes, it's very sad, you know, all the delays, the movie delays. But the thing is, I'd rather they delay it and kind of wait until it's safer for them to, because maybe they just want to release it in theaters. So maybe that's why they're pushing them back. So maybe they just kind of want to make sure it's safe for people to go. And by that, I mean, make sure people are willing to go for them to make money. So, you know, maybe that's why they pushed it back. But I can't really see why they pushed it back. Can you?
I mean, I think it's like you said. I mean, if they're really taking the time, it depends. Each movie's different, but I'm sure a lot of them are very contingent on that box office, those box office numbers. We talked about Tenet. That's still it's a huge cautionary tale about what not to do in terms of a release strategy for a movie, and nearly bankrupted Warner Brothers. So much so that I wish Christopher Nolan wishes he could go back in time right about now.
And it has dented Nolan's reputation a little bit, because
Absolutely.
I lost a bit of respect for him for it, because I understand being a I understand him pushing for his movie to be released in theaters. That's great, and the fact that he got it to be is cool. Like, well done to you, props to you. That's really cool. But then he had the nerve to start complaining on other directors' behalf about the HBO Max and theater deal, and it's like, you have no right to be talking about this because you got your film released in theaters only. So it didn't affect you. This pandemic did not affect Christopher Nolan, and I'm sure it not making that much at the box office didn't affect him that much either. He's going to be fine.
Back. Those movie theaters may not be fine though, and that's the thing that sucks. And I also heard though that the Dungeons and Dragons movie is another one of those movies that's being pushed back. It actually got pushed back a year or so, but I hear that D&D fans were not too upset about that because they're pretty used to, you know, patiently just waiting around to observe a story they ultimately have no control over. So that went over well with them.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine. Yeah, but all these movies being delayed, the various reasons, but hopefully as long as it ensures the best movie possible, it comes out whenever it's at the correct time. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm also very excited for Top Gun Maverick, I have to say. And I'm going to get crucified, but I've never seen the original Top Gun.
Neither have I. Yeah.
The original Top Gun was good.
Well, even my partner, who is not that much of a movie person, has seen Top Gun and has just judged me.
Top Gun was my childhood movie of what made me want to join the army.
Well, the sequel unfortunately has been delayed.
I don't care about the sequel. It's all about the.
No, the sequel looks good, right? The trailer, it gave me a little bit chills, like when he comes out in the plane and he's like, I was like, okay, I like this. I can see this.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about either of the Top Gun movies. I don't care about Nort's childhood favorite. I care what his favorite childhood movie. I love Nort. I think he's great, but I don't care about that movie particularly. And I don't like. I'm not. I don't care about the new movie either. You know, so it's just like.
Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah, I don't give a shit. It's a manufacturing consent for the military, and that's bullshit.
Oh, good.
So yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you know what it reminds me of? Maybe why I like it. It kind of reminds me a bit of like the fighter jet scenes in Star Wars. And I always loved those as a kid because they were like so cool to me. I was like, wow. And also my great granddad was in the army. He wasn't in the Air Force, but he was in the army. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I like it. I'm not sure. But
well, I'm grateful for his service. But these movies that are strongly endorsed and by the military, and with movies like Top Gun, their script has to be approved by military officials on behalf of the U.S. government. Make sure that, like, hey, you're not saying anything that's out of line, are they? So what you are left with is ultimately a movie that sometimes ends up being kind of propaganda for these big establishment entities, and that's my fear with the Top Gun franchise particularly. yeah, you're just left with something that's very, and that's why I've appreciated a little bit off topic. I don't know if you've seen, I won't get into spoilers, but the latest episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier get a little bit more.
I started watching it. You'll be happy to hear. I've only watched episode 1 though. No spoilers.
Well, they get more into that gray area, which I'm talking about, and I appreciate that about this series.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm only on episode 1, so I don't know how the rest of it is. I'm surprised at how much I like it, especially because I didn't like Civil War. And I was really worried at first because that first.
Oh, it's just a follow-up, yeah.
Yeah, like, no, not necessarily story-wise. The first action sequence, right? So one of my biggest problems with Civil War was the way it was edited. I thought it was really slappily done and like really hard to tell what was going on.
They did a lot of that shaky cam, didn't they?
Yeah,
like, yeah.
And the first action scene had a bit of that in, but then it like got to the bit with Falcon and he's like in, I think it's the Grand Canyon. No, going into Libyan airspace.
I know, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I had the cool shots of him like flying along and I was like, okay, you got me. And then they had like one of my all-time crushes, Sebastian Stan, good old him, trying to bloody, what was it? He's trying to flirt in the bar with that poor woman.
Yes, yes.
He is terrible.
It gets into those moral decisions and also the mundane aspects of these characters. Like, what is it like for Bucky to move on after he's no longer the Winter Soldier? What is it like for Falcon to have to deal with the real world ramifications of, the movie Civil War and Steve Rogers, passing on the shield? It's a really interesting story, and I think you'll like where it goes from episode 1.
And I will just say this now. Protect Wyatt Russell. He is not the enemy. He's just playing a character. Please leave Wyatt Russell alone. He did nothing wrong to you. He is a villain. That is the comics.
Before you watch episode 4, Lucas, go back and watch our segment where I talked about why Wyatt Russell is leaving Twitter, because I was very happy. I said what I said after I watch this latest episode.
We'll link that episode above in the little annotation. Now on to our final story of the day, Godzilla vs Kong, which I did originally film a review for you guys for. I swear to you, I know I've Facebooked it and tweeted it and everyone's like, where is your review? I filmed it and my recording software froze and we had the exact same issues today. So we're doing like a mini Godzilla vs Kong review / quick discussion about the box office, because it's continuing to really be the surprising Hollywood savior for the pandemic. It made 60 million, I believe you said, in the US in its first weekend.
First week and a half. With it came out Wednesday, the 31st of March in the US, and as of Friday, April 9th, so a week and a half later, it had made $60 million, which again was more money than Tenet made in its entire run.
Wow. Yeah, that Christopher Nolan is so annoyed right now.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
His movie made less than Godzilla vs Kong.
Right.
His epic masterpiece Tenet.
People watched it at home.
And that's
on their small screens, on their phones.
What Christopher Nolan referred to as the worst streaming service was how a shit ton of people, including myself, watched Godzilla vs Kong.
Yeah.
And even though it was on, as Christopher Nolan said, quote unquote, the worst streaming service, even more people chose to go see it over his movie. That's got to be a damning piece of information to have to take in.
So but in terms of quickly my thoughts on the film, just so I can give people my general thoughts, I like the film. I do promise I like the film, but as I was going through like my review, I did kind of notice I was finding more and more problems with it as I started talking about it, and like kind of I would start going off on tangents that I didn't even realize I had problems with in the film. My main points on this film, though, I really love the visuals and the visual effects. They are absolutely incredible. I believe this is the same visual effects team that did Zack Snyder's Justice League and Man of Steel and BVS. And I think you can tell, like, particularly with the color grading of certain scenes and the explosions and underwater stuff, it does look a bit similar. What did you think about the visuals, first of all? Did you like them? Did you think they elevated the film at all?
Sure, yeah. This director, Adam Wingard, is somebody who I haven't seen his previous work, but whenever I've seen a lot of other people give commentary on his previous work, they talk about his style and what he's known for as a director, and I can see a lot of that carry over in terms of the neon and some of the lighting choices that are made here. So it's always fun whenever a director can take a big monkey lizard fight movie and elevate it just by making it, more interesting for us to look at. And obviously, some of the problems that I had with the previous Godzilla movies was you just can't tell what the hell's going on. And you even talked about a little bit about that with another topic, but this one is you can tell what's going on. The visuals are beautiful, and you spend plenty of time with these big, epic creatures, and I think they're beautiful in every second of screen time that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of Adam Wingard, I am a really big fan of his. And I first found him during his horror movies, because he did You're Next, which is one of my favorite horror films. If you have not seen it, you really should. It's brilliant. And
so, is this really carrying over a lot of his style from those previous films, for sure?
Adam Wingard's style, you mentioned the neon stuff, and that's kind of recently become a thing he's liked. But his style has always been, he loves older style movies, and the campy style movies. Like, he loved the campy slasher films. That's why he did Your Next and played with that. And if you listen to the Your Next score, which is really hard to find, by the way, so if you do manage to find it, let me know. But if you listen to the score, you can tell the inspiration. And then he was very much inspired by 90s horror and found footage film, and that's why he liked the idea of remaking Blair Witch. And then obviously with his anime remake of Death Note, which was awful, but we just won't talk about it. You can see in that film as well that style of the older kind of, I think he tried to go for a more noir style, maybe with that one, Rear Window-ish type, I feel like, vibe. And then with Godzilla vs Kong, he's really going all in with that old campy Godzilla style movie. He has several flashbacks to where he would just have a zoom in on the monster's face, having a facial reaction. And I really like that. I think it makes the kaijus themselves feel more realistic. I mean, did you feel like they were definitely real presences in this film?
Yeah, I really appreciated that. And you could feel, King Kong in this movie is massive. Godzilla in this movie is massive. And you just feel the weight of that when they're crushing big buildings and stuff like that.
Tokyo. No, Hong Kong, sorry.
Hong Kong.
Oh my God.
Yes, it was completely demolished in the film, and you really feel every time. And that's the only thing you talked about, missing getting the chance to see this at the movie theater. And I wish that I was already fully vaccinated so I could have seen this at the movie theater as well, because there some of those scenes, like you mentioned, how beautiful this film is shot, and it definitely is made for the big screen. It is truly a big action spectacle, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I recall the exact moment as well, watching it, where I was like, I wish I was in a theater. And it was, spoiler alert, by the way, for the film, for anyone who's watching and hasn't seen it. Big spoilers. Yep. There's the scene where Kong's in Hollow Earth and he's swinging around on, it's not at the end, it's more in the middle when he's kind of first got there. And you just see all the visuals, and he has that fight with the little, I don't know what they are, moths.
He swings a monster into another monster and smacks them together. Oh, it was good shit, man.
Yeah,
oh, it was good shit.
I was like, I just wish this was on that big screen and I had some popcorn and but the audience reaction, I think people would have been like, oh, because that was one of the best. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say they learned from Batman versus Superman too. The action scenes are awesome in this movie, but not only that, but Kong and Godzilla fight a couple times in this movie. And when they fight, the human characters take a hands-off approach, and we let them fight, and it's awesome shit. So I really appreciated that. And then again, I could totally see you missing out or feeling like you're missing out on the big screen experience just with some of that.
I will say, however, there is one thing I feel cheated by in this movie. And it sounds dumb, but I really do just wish that Mechagodzilla was a bigger thing than it actually ended up being. Because now I am not a big kaiju fan. I think I even messaged you while watching it and say, I don't particularly understand kaiju and like the hype, but this movie is like gradually making me understand it. And like Mechagodzilla like starts getting introduced, you're like, oh, so this is like a really big bad. And then it was very it was really confusing how he was able to survive after his brain was shut off in the first place. But also that scene, all they did was pour water on it as well. That was stupid. And then I just found it really disappointing.
So I think Mechagodzilla really served his purpose. He was really there just to show the humanity aspect and that they're really messing with forces beyond their control. And I talked about it on my show. It kind of provides a larger commentary about man really has no control over nature. And so I think they did just enough to have that to paraphrase from Batman versus Superman, they just needed that doomsday character to come in and bring the two together and also show that, you know, humanity really needs to take a hands-off approach. And I think Mechagodzilla served its purpose well. This film isn't meant to be Shakespeare. It's not meant to be Macbeth. We all know that going into the film, and I think it served its purpose really well. I really enjoyed it. I give it an 18 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not quite as forgiving on it as you. I gave it a 5.9 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I just felt like there was things in there, particularly story-wise, that didn't make sense and was a bit disappointing. That is it for this week's episode of the Let's Chat Movies podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again, Sam. It was great to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me, Lucas, and I can't wait to come back when anytime you'll have me.
No problem. We'll see you again next time, everybody. Bye.